That's there you go. Yeah, they probably tracked me down. So, all right. So let me start with you, Sadek. What are you hoping to get out of the class, and then I'll quiz you about some of the things here. So you were saying you wanted to get into solar. You're an electrical engineer.
Yeah. I start for solar power sector. For this, I need a get certificate.
Mhm.
Yeah, I came for this.
Okay. And
First,
Walt,
solar power sector, first step. Yeah.
to first off, you need to understand it totally, and then you need to get out there and start doing it, right? And I think increasingly being certified in solar is going to be a requirement in many jurisdictions. I know you said you came from Turkey, and the US's governmental structure is somewhat bizarre, hard to navigate, because some things are federal, some things are state, some things are local. It's hard to know who is going to be the authority that has jurisdiction over solar. So we're seeing it evolving on a state-by-state basis. But even some localities are beginning to require certification when the state does not. Currently, the state of Ohio only requires certification, only requires you be an electrical contractor to attach solar to the grid. And that's really only for commercial systems. So Ohio is somewhat laissez-faire when it comes to what's required for solar. I always say it's interesting that in Ohio, you need to be licensed in order to do somebody's fingernails, but you can install solar if you have a pickup truck, so. But then you go to Illinois, they require that you be certified in order to participate in some of the incentive programs that exist there. So we're seeing that in a lot of different states. If you want to get government monies, if you want to get RECs, things like that, you've got to be certified. So Wally, why don't you let me know what you're hoping to accomplish there?
So, so my wife and I we're out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Hey, everybody. Nice to meet everybody. Jay, it's nice to see you again. My wife and I are going to be building a semi-passive off-grid home in southern Indiana, in a little town called Nashville, Indiana. And we bought some property that has southern exposure. And we want to do actually something kind of like, Jay, what you and Annie are doing at Blue Rock when I get ready to punch out of corporate America. We want to install a, probably somewhere between a 5 and 7 kilowatt ground mount system with batteries that's connected to the grid that is going to power our house. And then use that as, a training environment, to help other people, to spread the word, about how we can live more sustainably and not have to rely on our fragile systems. So.
All right. And when you get ready to build it, I've got lots of volunteers who would like to come in and help you. People who've been through the course.
I will bring them and feed them and
Sure.
all that good stuff. Yeah, we're really, really excited.
Yeah, we've tried to create a bit of a group. It's almost like solar barn raising, where the idea is you'll come in and help somebody else build theirs. Then when it's your time, people will come in and help you build yours so that you can avoid some of the cost of installation. And I always will try and volunteer my time to review the design work, because usually, especially on your first project, people are nervous that they've missed something, that it doesn't make sense, that they forgot something they shouldn't have forgotten. So I get all the time people sending in their plans just for me to look over, review. Does it look right? That's kind of my role there. And sometimes I'll even show up and help, but less and less all the time. But Indiana, I don't know. I don't know if my parole officer will let me go into Indiana.
Oh, well,
so
you
we'll
know
see.
what? We'll sneak you in. Don't worry about it. You know,
Yeah,
we'll sneak you in.
We'll just
But,
pretend Indiana is a drive-in movie theater and I'll hide in the trunk to get free admission, right?
well, you know, it's kind of like that song from the 70s, right? Indiana wants me, Lord, I can't go back there,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
there
I
you go.
remember.
Remember
Yeah,
that
it took
song?
me a long time to realize that he was literally wanted by the police in Indiana. You
Right.
know, that I just thought it was kind of a metaphor or something, but
Well,
I don't.
and we're hoping that, you know, what we create down in Nashville becomes a showcase, you know,
Sure.
so, you know, we can show other people, you know, here's how you do it. So it's great to be here,
Great.
Jay, and look forward to learning from you and everybody else.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you were able to join on Solar Noon Tuesday. Just as I mentioned, we have that meeting every Tuesday at noon, Solar Noon Eastern Time. So you're welcome to join in on that. Graham, I see you there. Well, I see your logo anyway. Do you have any, let us know why you're going through this? Yep. There you go.
Hey there. All
Good.
right, now I'm on. Oh, this is a very red. I don't know why my lighting is so much like that. I look like I'm in Hades or something. Anyway, we'll deal with it for now. But hey, I was interested in joining this course. I'm kind of looking for a career change. I'm just in landscaping right now, but I'm interested in getting into electric vehicles as well. And something that really excites me about an electric vehicle is setting up my own home solar situation with a battery to be able to, you know, charge my own car from home. I have ideas, big ideas in the future that may or may not play out. It would be fun to get into a local community solar program or something like that. And this just feels like a skill that I would like to know moving forward.
Well, and there's a lot of opportunity for landscapers in the solar industry, especially for these larger systems,
Yeah,
because they do require, you know, that the areas be maintained in a certain way that's aware of the solar.
right.
And there is a movement in a lot of these larger facilities towards native plantings and pollinator-friendly plantings, because they get kind of a two-for marketing, where they can say, not only are we using the sun for our products, but we're pollinator-friendly, we're promoting
Right.
native species. You know, you get the whole, you know, greeny tree-hugging kind of vibe out of the whole thing.
That'd be perfect. Yeah, the idea too is at my local college, they have a lot of unused fields because they have development hopes in the future for the college. If the college ever blows up at some point, we have these spaces. But it would be cool, that kind of thing with all the native plants, the pollinators and all that. If I had that along with the pitch of using their land for it too, it could potentially pull through, but we'll see if that ever.
Which college are you near?
Bryn Athyn College. It's a very small local school in Pennsylvania.
Oh, in Pennsylvania. Are you in Western Pennsylvania?
Eastern.
Oh, Eastern. Okay.
Yeah, a short drive from Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's some interesting new systems out there that are ballasted ground-mounted systems. And basically what that means is you're not going to be putting any penetrations into the ground.
Oh, cool.
And so you can then pick them up and move them should
Very
you
cool.
need to do that in the future. And I'm thinking that abandoned shopping malls are a good example where they've got some good grid access, but they've got huge parking lots that are kind of just going to weed.
Yeah.
Old airports I've seen, like down in Tampa, there was an abandoned World War II airport in the middle of the city. Could be used for that, where people are wanting to inventory the property for a few years, but would like to be able to develop it, so they don't want to have something that can't just be picked up and moved. And some of these ballasted systems use sand or they use water as the weight within the systems.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So
pretty clever, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Jay, when we were up in Michigan last week, we saw, and we were driving through the farmlands in Southwest Michigan, we saw a couple of ballast systems. I didn't know they were called ballast systems, but ballast systems on skids, and
Yeah.
they were on farmland, right? And
Uh-huh.
I thought that was interesting. I had never seen that before.
Sure, you could just come in with a skid mover and, you know, just forklift.
Hook it up to your tractor, and you can drag it wherever you need it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you'll disconnect it first.
Well, that
You
would be
know?
a that'd be a good
Yeah,
idea, right?
good
Yeah,
idea. Not necessarily. I know some farmers around here that might not think of that.
right.
So, okay, and Richard, what are your involvement there? And I did mute you before, so hopefully you'll unmute yourself.
Yes, honestly, just trying to find a, I guess, better industry to be in. I've been in the restaurant industry, and I'm just like, it's probably time to get out and get a real job.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Okay, and then so you're interested in just getting into any kind of project to work for a installer for a while, and maybe then.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, grab some experience and learn a hands-on kind of thing, because I mean, it's a really interesting industry to be in, because I'm outside. I've always been inside, and it's like I don't get to see the sun all the time, and then
Right.
working specific hours. So it'd be
And
nice to be.
where are you physically located?
Right now in Arkansas, but I'm originally from California.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, once you finish this class, I mean, I can put you in touch with people who will hire you the next day. I mean, they're literally begging for people, all the time to come in. So, so the job market is available. Obviously, once you get in, you got to prove yourself. But so that's not going to be an issue. I had a student a couple of years ago who's become a good friend and was an intern at Blue Rock Station, and named Eduardo, and he was from San Diego, and he came to us and he basically said, listen, I'm at this place where I either have to join a gang or go into solar, and I was like, okay, that's a weird choice. I hadn't heard that one before, but he so he decided to go into solar, and came, and we actually took the class. He was living in his car at that point, and we got through the class, and then he came out to Blue Rock Station. He interned with us for a couple of months, and he is so enthusiastic about it. It was really interesting. But then he decided at the end of his internship to go interview. Well, he was sending out interview, emails, couldn't get anyone to respond. And then I told him, well, just go down to Athens. This was in Ohio. Talk to them at Dovetail. That was an install company. And this is the person you need to talk to. So he was hired the first day, and has never looked back. In fact, he was at one point named ETA's Technician of the Year. So he won that for the worldwide. And now he's entered into the 4-year electrical apprenticeship program. So he's like in year 3 getting his electrical license here in Ohio. So he's not living in his car anymore. So that's actually quite good. So anyway, it's an exciting industry. It reminds me a lot when I was getting into college. Computers were just becoming a thing, and it's that same kind of feel. It's the emergence of these companies like Apple and Microsoft and Cisco and these companies that didn't exist and now they are. And the solar industry is the same way right now. It is moving to be the dominating industry of the next decade or two, where the internet, the development of the internet, the development of the desktop computer, all of that dominated the 1990s and the 2000s. Now we're moving into the age of renewable energy, the electrification of everything, the taking the electrical grid, which has not changed that much since the days of Edison and Tesla, and moving it in the same way that the telecommunications industry changed from plain old telephone to wireless, satellite, internet, data driven, to where it doesn't even reflect what it was 30 years ago. It's completely transformed. So when you look at the electrical grid is going towards microgrids, distributed energy, the Internet of Things, where controlling systems are going to be transmitted data over power lines, wireless electricity applications, the electrification of the transportation grid. All of these things are just starting. We are right now in the floppy disk age of solar, and you guys are getting into it, right at the beginning. I mean, the industry is only 10 years old, really, only about a dozen years old. So it's just starting. Yeah. And when we talk about batteries, I mean, geez, we're not even to the floppy disk age yet. We're in the punch card age of batteries, so that's going to transform everything as well. And some of the new technology, we can get into some of that, but it's super exciting. I mean, it's just that kind of thing that's however far you want to take it, you can take it. So I think you've made the right choice. I think this class is really designed for people who are kind of tied down, where they can't just give up 10 days and go off to a class or whatever. So I've tried to create a situation where you can work independently through the lecture portion, and then we'll come together and do the labs and the test review and the examination. So now the downside of that is you don't get to sit around and listen to me talk, that much. Well, you do on the online program, but that's kind of boring. So anyway, I've scheduled the lab meetings, and I scheduled them for 2 days, but we only need 1 day for each of you guys. So I did this in case we got a group that was too large to be done because it's a hands-on thing, but we're not going to have a group that's too large to work with. So what I suggest, and I want to see about your availability, is doing the labs on Saturday, October 16th. And then we'll do the review and the examination on Sunday, October 17th. In all the paperwork, it showed the labs were the 15th and 16th, which was Friday, Saturday, but we only need 1 day. So I want to get everybody into the 16th if we can. So you don't have to take a Friday, especially those of you who are coming from out of town. You know, if you're going to stay over in a hotel, then you're just staying over the one night. And so is there anybody who that's a problem for? Doing it on the 16th?
I would say me.
You on the 16th versus, was the 15th okay?
Yes.
Okay, the 15th's okay. What about the Sunday?
Yes, that'd be fine too.
Yeah, okay, so you were, let's see, you said you were in Arkansas, so you were gonna come up for a day, go back, and then come up for a day again?
No, I was just gonna stay because I originally thought it was gonna be for those 3 days, so I was gonna stay for those 3 days.
Okay, but this way it would only be staying for 2 days. So, I mean,
that would no, that would be fine too. But I was just saying I had already had made plans to take off for that Friday
okay,
through the Sunday, because I thought
Okay.
it was going to be like a 2-day kind of test thing.
yeah, no, it's just, I mean, you can still take off 3 days and then spend 1 day sightseeing around the glorious Dayton area and studying. So that'll work. Okay, so it just gives you a little more flexibility, but we don't need the full 2 days for the labs. I can get them all in 1 day. So we can talk through to see if there's really an issue there, but I think it'll work out. Or you can spend another day in Arkansas and just come up for the 2 days. Okay. Has everybody received your textbooks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And you would have gotten a downloadable PDF version early on, but I always find it's easier to study from a paper book and make notes and stuff. So I wanted you to have that on hand as well. And has everybody been able to log in and get yourself oriented with the online course. Okay. The thing that I found when we've run these classes is one of the reasons for these weekly meetings is to keep you focused on actually doing the work during the week, you know, like doing the reviews. And so that's the main reason for this, because it's so easy to get caught up in other stuff and say, okay, yeah, it's not an emergency. And then it all piles up in the week before you're taking the test. You've got 46 hours of online stuff that you got to go through, and that kind of makes it a miserable experience. So my plan is during these weekly sessions, hopefully they won't have to take too long. They'll take as long as you need them to take. But I do have recordings of the review of each of the chapter quizzes. So rather than go through those, I'll just, give you guys a link for each of those chapter quiz, because I'll explain, some of the background on sometimes, or answer, you'll have the right answers presented to you when you do the quiz, but sometimes you may want a little bit more detail on that. But really what the hope is that you'll use this time as questions occur to you as you're going through the chapter, make note of it. We can address those. But then as we get deeper into the book, when you're starting to do some of the design problems, then we can work through real world examples. So for instance, Wally, we can use your home as an example and do a load analysis, and then design the wiring system and select the components, and kind of walk through and design it like you would do a system. And we could do the same for other projects. It's nice if you've got like an existing home where you just say, well, how much would it cost me? What would be involved if I wanted to put solar on my house? So we can use some of the online tools, go in through Google Earth, do a remote site assessment. We can use some of the tools like PV Complete, which is a free design software package that we can show you that will allow you to lay out the system, and it sizes it and it prices it and things like that. So we'll do some wire sizing issues, some voltage drop equations. How do you calculate the right size of the array? How would you calculate battery backup systems? So the whole purpose of this class is to be very practical. I tried to take it to where, what would an installer need to know to actually install the system, not a lot of focus on what is the theoretical basis for how solar works. We touch on that, but you don't really need to know that so much to do it, or how to manufacture solar cells. You're not going to be doing that. So it's really, how do you pull the wire? How do you not die? Those are important things,
So as they say, safety first, right?
Yeah, safety first, last, and always, kind of thing.
Yeah.
With a lot of the students in our face-to-face classes, I do try and emphasize that, if the company you're working for doesn't have a culture of safety, then don't work for them. It's like you've only got one body, and if they're treating it fairly cavalier, then that's not a company that you necessarily want to give your energy to. There's lots of people out there who want you to work for them. So treat yourself as a valuable asset. And and when you're 19, your brain's not working anyway. So you're trying to convince them that they're not immortal is usually a lost cause. So, and I was the same way when I was 19. You just do stupid stuff. Often I'll remember, I'll say, if I had known it would hurt for the rest of my life, I wouldn't have done that. Like I wouldn't have tried to pick up that thing because it still hurts 40 years later, so those are lessons that I think you only learn with age and pain.
So Jay, one of the things we're hoping, and again, they say hope's not a strategy, but one of the things we are thinking is that even though we're not going to start building our house until next year, we're actually thinking about putting in the system this fall.
Okay.
So we can talk more about that, but that would be great, for all of us and, the other solar barn raisers out there that we come out of this class and it might be, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, and then we get ready to do an install. So,
Sure. Yeah.
you know, because I want to get it going, because I don't want to have the use it or lose it, you know,
Yeah.
phenomenon.
Well, a system as small as the one you're talking about could pretty much be installed in a weekend for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. My guess is it would be a ground mounted system.
Yeah, it is. Mhm.
Yeah. Makes sense since you don't have a house, you know?
Well, we don't, but it provide, not to jump into it, but it provides an interesting challenge, because similar to Blue Rock Station, our house and ground mount system are going to be a reasonable distance. Our house is actually going to be about 650 feet away. So that presents an interesting design challenge from a cabling, where you put the batteries, where you put the shutoffs, where you put the inverters, et cetera. So that'll be
Mhm.
fun to solve for that in this class.
Are you thinking you'll be grid tied? Well, I think we went
Yeah.
through this. Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
be grid tied.
Yeah, we'll be
but-
grid tied, but if the grid goes down, then we'll have an auto shut off, and then we can run independently. But then, as per, I think, a Solar Tuesday session, maybe a month or so ago, I don't know if dump bucket was the right term, but then how do you offload additional energy, you know, from your grid if on a sunny day we're only pulling maybe 2 kilowatt hour, but our grid's generating 5? You know, what do you do
Yeah.
with that? You know, so
Yeah,
anyway,
the right term is load dump.
thank you. Load dump.
Load dump. Yep.
Load dump. Sorry about
But
that.
dump bucket sounds good.
Well, yeah, you know, we are looking at compostable toilets too, so I don't know.
There you go.
know, so
Yeah,
there-
well,
Yeah.
we've got those at Blue Rock
I
Station
know,
as
I know.
well, you
Annie,
know?
I remember Annie said that when you bought the property, the first thing you did was find out where's the compostable toilet going to go, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, I read an old pioneering book years ago, and it was funny about the guy. And there was a line that just stuck with me. He said, I built the outhouse and the barn and the house in that order.
in that order, right?
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
those are the priorities. Deal with the outhouse, deal with your animals. Okay, so I will record the sessions each time, and I'll post them on my personal Zoom. I don't put them on the Blue Rock Station Zoom page, because we've got a couple thousand subscribers there, and they don't need to know that we just recorded this. But on my personal one, I've got like 0 subscribers. So I'll give you the link where you can go in. So if you're missing a meeting or whatever, that's not a big deal. You can just review it at your leisure. And throughout the week, like I said, if you can keep your questions and we'll address them as a group during the session, that would be great. But if you can't, and if you'd rather, you can send me an email or give me a call, and I'll be happy to discuss whatever issues, or if you're having trouble, you know, with something, you're confused or whatever, and it's not really something you want to let everybody know that you're confused, and then just contact me. My email, you should already have through correspondence, j@bluerockstation.com, or my phone number. My cell phone is 740-252-6038. That should be in the signature of my emails as well. So that's 740-252-6038. Okay, so I think I addressed you guys are in the logins, got the books, weekly meeting at 1 o'clock, this meeting. The 16th and the 17th, we're going to record these. I'll give you that link. I'll also send you guys emails saying, okay, as of this period of time, you should be this far along in the system, just to keep you on track. And then I'll send you the reviews for the chapter review videos. Any questions before we adjourn today? Everybody feel confident, ready to go? All right. Okay, so I'll send out a notice for next Tuesday's meeting. In the meantime, get in, move as far ahead as you can, and talk to you all next week.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Okay,
Take care.
see you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.